to my channel. It's Ashley here. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. Subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and if you're returning, welcome back. Okay guys, so I know I've been missing in action, but there is a conversation that I feel like we need to have. And I know I need to have this conversation because it's something that I've been observing a lot lately, and I'm just gonna finish my makeup while I talk to you guys. It's something that I've experienced personally, and there's a lot of conversation being had on the subject matter in the media. So I saw a video the other day from I Am Eloho. She was talking about Megan Good and her newfound light-skinnedness or what have you, and you know, it kind of got me to thinking, and I've been reluctant to share certain information with you guys because I'm just really going through a transition period in my life and trying to figure things out and learn from past mistakes and what have you. But one thing that I've noticed is that I'm doing all this internal work to correct my wrongs or whatever it might be that I need to work on, right? But I'm wondering, is that work being done amongst others and amongst the world? So, you know, I'll just get right into it. I don't want to ruffle any feathers per se, but like I said, we need to talk about this because there is, like, I don't know, here lately in the last couple of years, I would say for sure I've been feeling a little out of place in my own community per se. And you know, I consider myself brown skinned. Now when I was growing up, you know, when I was younger and all that stuff, I did think that I was light skinned, and a lot of people also thought that I was light skinned. And I'm not finna insert pictures and all that, either you believe it or you don't. Really, that's where I'm at with it because it's the past. Like, I'm brown skinned now. So, you know, I've done different things in my life, gone to different places, and I do feel like that attributed to my skin color now. I don't feel like it ever went back to what it was, just after certain things. And so with that being said, like, I never felt like there was anything wrong with my skin color. I always thought like I was just pretty. I thought, you know, I'm attractive no matter what shade, tone, and maybe that's because I always felt like I was just cute, pretty, and nice and stuff like that, so I didn't see the issue. But you know, when you grow, you learn different things, and lately I've been getting the whole Pam reference. Now, I've had this happen to me a couple times, and it's been with different people. So if anybody's gonna try to say that I'm talking about, no, this has happened on more than one occasion, and when I've been out with more than one person. So it happened like a couple months ago, you know, and I was outside Waffle House, you know, talking to one of my friends or whatever. She's like a little bit more yellow than me, I would say, and I'm sure y'all are not picking up my true skin tone on the camera, of course. The guy who was trying to speak to us, he was like, he said something like Pam, and I'm like, here we go with this again. And I know she didn't know what I was talking about or whatever because she had never experienced it with me before. I asked him, I was like, why am I Pam? And he was like, because honestly, I know why he's saying it, but I want him to think about why he's saying it. Think about why that's something that you would reference me as. And, you know, I feel offended by it only because I know that Pam was considered the not attractive one out of the two of them, and you know, that's not how I feel about Pam, but that is how most of, you know, Black America that used to watch Martin, you know, how they felt about Pam. She just was the big butt brown skinned friend, and you know, Gina was of course the star. And so it's like, it kind of made me feel away. It kind of triggered me, and you know, he was like, oh, because you're the brown one. And I'm like, wow, like, me and this girl's skin tone is not that far off. I'm not gonna expose my friend, but it's really not that far off. And I'm just like, wow, that's what you came up with and whatever. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, blah blah blah. By this point I had done walked off because I'm like just so over it. Like, I'm just so over being referenced as Pam. Like, the hell? And so, you know, my friend, she was like, you know, just leave me alone, stuff like that. But in my past, I have noticed with other people, you know, I got the whole, oh, don't act like that, you being this and that, and nobody kind of understood why I felt the way I felt. Maybe I didn't communicate it, but I was certainly upset about it. And then to be told, like, you know, if it ain't right, it ain't right, by so-called friends. And it's like, look, that, you know, there's a lot of colorism going on, we all know that, but some people really just don't even believe that they are colorist, or if they do, they just don't care. And I think it's really messed up when you have a friend and you're behaving like you won't understand where they're coming from, or at least try to. I know it's hard for someone who may be, you know, high yellow, or if you don't want to open your mind, you're not going to open your mind, basically, is what I'm getting at. And it just made me think, just because it's been coming up a lot lately, and I'm just like, where, I'm wondering if any other brown skin girls go through this, like the girls that are in the middle. I know Popeye Cherry, and I know you watch my channel too, but I know that she had referenced, you know, colorism coming from, like, the conversation has been had on YouTube about colorism from lighter skinned women, and I love that. I appreciate that so much, especially like Aaliyah's face. I remember that was one of the first videos that I saw from her that kind of made me fall in love with her, was the fact that she was speaking up for us. And it was like, wow, like, and not to put my darker or deeper skin tone girls out, please, because my family members, I have family members who are darker skin, and I know they've faced a whole different plight than I have. So I definitely want to open the conversation to all skin tones, and I wanted to know, like, are there any other brown skin girls out there that kind of get the shaft, or are kind of being looked over because of your skin tone, or not able to sit with certain people because of your skin tone? And do you kind of feel just kind of lost? I don't feel lost, but I just kind of feel like I don't like that that is the only reference that, you know, people can come up with, is like, oh, you're Pam. Like, first of all, I'm not even on the show, you know? So it's just like, what is this? Or a lighter skinned woman and you have brown skin friends or dark skin friends, I feel like these are topics of conversation that do need to happen. I don't know why it's being avoided, because when I tried to talk about it in my past, and I was like, hey, don't say that, like, it's not, if it ain't light, it ain't right, that's not it, like, that's ignorant, that's rude. I was like shunned off and made to feel as though I was wrong, so I never brought it back up again. But as I'm getting older and thinking about certain things, it's like, no, I'm trying to build myself a platform to have these uncomfortable conversations. And I don't care how it makes someone feel. Like, I want people to start thinking more about subjects like this, because it does take a toll on a person when you've always considered yourself to just be attractive and, you know, have pretty much a good character, and you're kind of not being looked at or passed up just because you're like a shade or two darker. And it's like, I don't know, that's new to me. Honestly, it's new to me. I want to ask you guys, have you guys had this conversation with any of your brown skin friends? Like, look at your friends and say to yourself, who do you surround yourself by? Why do you surround yourself with those people? Do you feel as though you are the, I don't know, Kim K of your group? Or do you feel as though you're better than your other friends because you're lighter, or like vice versa? I don't know. All I know is that I wanted to speak about it today because I'm not understanding. To me, it's ignorant. Like, I don't feel like I should be being referenced as Pam. Like, Pam, I mean, I think Pam is beautiful in her own right. I always thought she could sing better than Gina. I always thought she was just funnier overall and all of that. But I know the context in which people are choosing to use it with me, and it's not that, because you're just going off looks, because I haven't said anything, you know what I mean, to you for you to even know if I'm funny or anything like that. So it's just really based off of, you know, the initial look. Oh, hey Pam, like, what?
Really, nigga?
You know, Martin used to call Pam like buckwheat and stuff. Like, I don't think that's cute. I mean, Pam was cute, but I don't think like the reference is cute, because there was nothing like really great that came from, you know, the jokey jokes. I mean, yeah, Gina had that head, but she was always still, you know, pretty much the star or whatever. I've never really experienced not being chosen, and I know I have been in the last few years, so I'm just kind of like wondering what is going on. When I speak to my boyfriend, he considers me light skinned, and I'm like, bruh, I am not light skinned, I am brown skinned. Like, and it's almost as if I wonder if people want to program it into their minds that I'm just wondering, like, there's a lot of things that got me like, what is happening to my people? What is happening? Everything is just, y'all trying to just wash down, like. And I hope like I'm not coming off the wrong way, because I don't want to offend anyone, but I also don't want to continue to ask myself these questions and be confused. And I want to bring up topics that I feel like we need to talk about, really. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So it's like, for example, like if I go out with a Latina, if I have a Latina friend that I'm out with, I'll notice that, you know, it's kind of like equal. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like equal. Both of us are kind of being looked at or whatever. And this is in the past, because obviously I have a man now, but I'm just thinking back like on past experiences. Like if I was going out with like a Latina, you know, we would both kind of get, you know, equal amount hit on, whatever. Now, but I notice amongst black people, when I go out with black people, if I'm going out with a darker girl than me, you know, we both get hit on, whatever. But I notice if I'm going out with a lighter girl than me, the lighter girl gets hit on. Yeah, I'm just ugly. You're right. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I'm just wondering. Yeah, let's have the conversation. Brown skin girls, chime in. What's going on? Are you guys experiencing this? Am I losing my mind? I know I'm not. It's almost like if you are brown skinned, then you better have a fat ass to go with it, or you not getting chose. And I think that was also part of it, is because of this dump truck that I got going on. It's considered like, if you don't have like an ass and shit, you're considered more pretty. That's another thing, but that's a whole nother topic, honestly. But you're just considered more beautiful and pretty than a thick girl. But thick girls are getting the unwanted attention, like the nasty kind of attention. But I mean, I love my butt. So it's like, I'm not gonna complain. Hey guys, so I know I look a lot different than yesterday, but I just wanted, hold on. I ended up having to end the video kind of abruptly yesterday, but I didn't want to leave my thoughts, like just thoughts. I wanted to put the rest of the thoughts out. It's like, if you don't understand why we're having to have these conversations and what good it's doing or where this comes from or what have you, there's a lot of things going on right now in the world. And I see changes being made. I see black people trying to come together as one, instead of all these little sub parts of us. Like, ultimately it's one. And the fact that there's so much injustice in this world is, you know, you cannot act like that's not the case. Like, that's the case, like point blank period. So those of us who are courageous enough to speak about things like this and understand that there is privilege, even when we want white people to admit their white privilege, it's the same thing. And the reason why I brought up Aaliyah's face and Pop by Cherry, Like I said, these are two women, especially Aaliyah's face, because she's actually biracial. And those, you know, people that do that are the real pioneers in this movement, because ultimately we want to be considered one. You know, we don't want all these divisions and stuff like that. We want equal treatment, equal rights all across the board. But if we expect that from others, we have to first address the issues that we have amongst ourselves, which is colorism. And, you know, I remember being told that I was using that as a cop-out, as a crutch. And it's like, no, don't make me feel like what I'm feeling and seeing and others are feeling and seeing is not the case when it is. It's very evident who gets special treatment and who does not. And it's not to make anybody feel bad about receiving special treatment. It's about having a serious, honest conversation with yourself. Sit down and think like, well, yeah, I do get special treatment. I am always going to be chosen, you know? How does that make somebody else feel, though? If you don't want to address it and you want to brush it under the rug, that's part of the problem. And it's a very uncomfortable conversation to have. And, I mean, I don't care anymore. It is what it is. You cannot expect people to respect you, to be loyal to you, when you are behaving in a manner that does not suit you or your fellow brother and sister. There is one common goal amongst all of us, and that's to live in peace and harmony. We cannot do so if we have people amongst our own community who hate each other or hate themselves. So, you know, it comes down to who's being casted for music videos. It comes down to who's being chosen for certain jobs. Like, this stuff runs deep. So, yeah, just take a deeper look at yourself, your community, your surroundings, who you engage with. Open your minds a little bit, which is why I'm sure you've chosen to click on this video. I don't harbor any ill will or any bad feelings for anybody. I want people to use their minds. That's what I want. I want people to be more understanding, compassionate, and less divisive. We already get it from every other community. Why does it have to be in our own community as well? I see the changes being made. They're small changes, but they definitely matter and they count. And I'm just asking you to think about it. How can you use your privilege to make awareness on a really messed up situation and change it for the better, to where people who are just as good as you can get the same rights, the same opportunities, as long as the work ethic is there, as long as, you know, whatever criteria needs to be met is met. So this is not for anyone to feel bad about being light-skinned. This is not for anyone to feel bad about being dark-skinned, feel bad about being brown-skinned. It's not to divide at all. I want us to come together, and I want us to think in a rational way on what can we do differently to see a change. Okay, and I leave you with that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I know my hair looks a little bit different. I took out my braids, girl, but whatever. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. The fact that I even made this video, like, it feels really, really good, honestly, to have this conversation. It's like, you know, we are changing ourselves so much because there's so much self-hate. People don't want to admit it. It's true, it's true, it's true, it's true. Okay, and if you guys want to talk more about this, please let me know down in the comments. Leave me a comment, and make sure you're following me on Instagram. And all of my lovely subscribers, thank you so much for embarking on this journey with me. We are growing, we are learning, we are changing. Okay, guys, so this is a finished look. I just went for like a pinup look, and I'm about to record some footage, so I put on my dress. If you didn't know, this is my favorite pattern. But anyway, like I said, y'all, I didn't want to have this conversation to offend, but more so we need some understanding and some compassion, especially in our community. So if there's any brown skin girls that are going through this, light skin girls, dark skin girls, anybody can weigh in on what you have to say about it. But I definitely wanted to have the conversation because it's not fair for us to feel like all we can ever be is the Pam of the group. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe and come back for the next video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.